My name is Omar. We're here at Functional Core Fitness, and today we're going to discuss the forward and backward lunge. So now we're going into our leg exercise or our level change. I'm going to show two different variations. I'm going to show a stationary variation and then a dynamic variation. Before that we continue on, this would be this exercise or this movement would be the combination of the forward reach balance. So if we're having a hard time with this exercise, we'll have to go back to the forward reach balance and most likely the hip hinge video to prepare us for this exercise. Once you master that, then we can do the forward lunge. All right, so now the stationary forward lunge first. Well, I guess should just be a stationary lunge. I'm gonna start off in a kneeling position. My 3 points of connection onto the floor with my left foot would be, my left foot has the 3 points of connection. Now the back foot. Now because I'm in a kneeling position, I can't keep my foot flat. So now this back foot requires 2 points of connection. Extremely important that the ball of the foot and under the pinky toe is connected to the floor. Which means if we cannot, the issue then becomes the flexibility of the big toe. Now the big toe has to bend at least to a 90 degree. Now, if we can, then the lunge would be easy. If we can't, and our foot starts to arch, and we're just bending over the big toe without the 2 points of connection, then flexibility of the toes now becomes a priority. If we cannot keep the toes bent in that bent position, and then we can't properly push off the floor to do the movement correctly. You have to now take a step back, work on the toe flexibility. That'll be in a future video. So for now, 2 points of connection. I want to make sure that my knee is under my hip. Now I can have my hip slightly in front of my knee if I want, no big deal. It's up to you. The front knee for this basic lunge, what we're looking for is the knee above the ankle. I want to make sure that my toes are facing forward. I want to make sure that my knee is bent. We want it above the second and third toes. Right? We don't want it buckled in. We definitely don't want it bowed out. Once my hips are in the proper position, I want to make sure that my shoulders are back, my stomach is engaged, and my back glute is engaged where it's squeezed. Now, I'm going to keep my stomach tight. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to push off the floor with the 2 points of connection in the back, and then push off the floor with the 3 points of connection in the front, and drive my hip forward, where now I'm in a standing split stance position. Now, I want to make sure that this glute in the back is fully engaged. I'm squeezing it. I don't want to be unsqueezed because now my glute didn't perform the full range of motion. So I'm squeezing my drive forward to finish my movement. I want to make sure that I go straight down and then I drive my hip forward again. Okay? Now be very careful that I don't bring my weight forward, right? Where now I'm off center. If I'm off center, that means that my leg in front is doing the majority of the work. I want to make sure that I'm centered where both of my legs perform the movement. Now, let's go back to the toes, the connection of the toes. I've been watching people get up and off the ground for over 25 years. And I've noticed that when the individual has proper range of motion of the toes, then they stand up correctly with the proper drive. Now, when someone has lack of flexibility of the toes and other reasons, maybe it's easier, injury, I'm just gonna generalize it. When I see people stand up differently where they can't use the toes, they will then keep the foot flat on top put all the weight in the front leg and then use the hands to support themselves to stand up. So I've seen it look like this. Okay, so we want to make sure that we don't stand up using the assistance of our hands. We should have the strength in their legs to perform a proper lunge to get off the floor. So that is our stationary lunge. I inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Okay? Now for the dynamic. Once the stationary becomes easy, it's a stability exercise. Now we're going to do a dynamic movement where we're lunging forward and then coming back to our starting position. So this is my teaching. In all the books that you read, they're going to teach another way. I'm not saying that I'm right and they're wrong. This is just how my mind works based on how the body works. Now, in my opinion, what I've learned is that the heels are not designed to absorb shock. That's what the balls of the feet are. Balls of the feet and the ankles. When we jump rope on the balls of our feet. We don't jump on our heels. When we jump and land, you decelerate properly when you land on the balls of the feet, heels second, and then decelerate. When you land on the heels first, it's a lot of impact on the heels before the deceleration. It's the debate of when you run, do we heel strike or do we not heel strike? Again, same concept in my opinion. Landing on the balls of the feet is the natural body's way of landing, which means when I teach the lunge by landing on the balls of the feet first, planting my heels second, I come down, and then when I push off the floor, I'm now driving off the heel. Okay? That's just what I teach. I've always taught that way. But again, if you're comfortable with the heel, do it with the heel. But I've always, again, my opinion. So I'm gonna start off in a standing position. I take my step forward, land on the ball of the foot, plant my heel, come down, decelerate slowly so I am in control of the movement. I don't necessarily have to touch the floor with my knee. If you want to make it hard, plant your knees softly. You're now starting off in a dead weight position, which is more natural. So when we drive backward, I'm going to drive off the heel, so toes up, heel second. I'm going to inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Careful that I don't use my back. I want to control my movement so that my legs are performing the whole movement with control. Now, I can do the same lunge going backwards. I take my step back, I lunge down, and then I stand back up. Take that step back, same alignment, exhale when I come back up. Now in future videos, we will show you all three planes of motion of the lunge. This is the first of three. In case you don't know, in science, the body's broken up into three movements. Forward and back, the sagittal plane, side to side, the frontal plane, and then rotation, which is the transverse plane. This exercise is the lunge in the sagittal plane, forward and backwards. So in the future, side to side and rotational lunges are in store. I hope you guys had a great time. See you next week.